Welcome back to Cruder.com. In this next video on date and time formulas, we're going to be going over some really powerful formulas, and then we'll put them into play with some real life examples. Alright, so let's quickly go over these formulas that I have here. Let's start with this e-date, and then all of these values is what I've punched in and what we're going to use within the formulas. So in this calculation right now, I've just already punched in the e-date, and you can see right there that there's two pieces of information that are needed, and it's the start date and the months. And so the start date, you can see I've referenced it, and it's asking how many more months do I want to add to this value. So if I add 5 months to December, you'll get May 14th. You can also go backwards with this and put -5 and you'll get July 14th. Now this formula might seem kind of dumb, but the thing is that months always have different days. You either have a 30, a 31, 28, 29, depending on leap year, amount of days in a month, which makes it difficult to add months in Excel without using this function. Now let's move on to the next formula, EO month, or end of month. And again, this is the value. I'm referencing it here in the end of month formula, EO month. And you can see that it has the exact same arguments as the e-date did. So it has a start date and then it has a month. So how many more months do I want to add? Find the end of the month date in that month that I'm referencing. So currently I'm in December, and December has 31 days. So that's why December 31st comes up. And it's the same thing as with the e-date, just how you can add months, add 5, and you get to May 31st, or you can subtract 5. And you get to July 31st. In the example, we'll go over how we can use this in a real life situation. Let's move on to this next one, WeekNum, and WeekNum is actually just week number. So what is the week number of this date? So 12, 14, 15. So the week number, it has two arguments, serial number and then return type. Return type, if it's not in here, it will just default to 1. So this return type that it's talking about though is, it's asking what day does the week start on. So typically it starts on Sunday if you're on a US calendar. So we're just going to leave that as 1, and you can see that this is the 51st week that we are currently in. The next formula is weekday, and the weekday is saying which weekday are we on based on a 7-day week, and that week is specified also with a return type, same thing, asking for a serial number. Remember, underneath this formatting is a serial number, and it's asking if I backspace this up and put a new comma in there. It gives me a bunch of different types of calendars for when the week starts, so it can start labeling 1 for Sunday, 2 for Monday, and so forth all the way through Saturday as 7, or it has all these other options. So typically you start with 1 for Sunday and then 7 through Saturday because that's a typical US week. But you'll see in an example that we go through, we'll go ahead and actually pick out, I think it's 16 we'll use in our example. But for now, let's just keep it at number 1 and return that. So that's saying this day is going to be a Monday. So if I say equals text and grab this value comma day and return it, it should say Monday. So let's delete that and then go to net working days. Net working days needs 2 inputs, so I have 2 values here. And when I open up the formula, it has a bunch of different arguments. It's asking for a start date, end date, weekend, and holidays. And both the weekend and the holidays are optional. So the start date is listed here, so on the 14th, which is a Monday, we just saw that. And then the end date is Tuesday, the next day. Then we specify how the weekends are structured for our work week. And we say Saturdays and Sundays are the weekend. And we did not specify anything for a holiday. So I'm just going to put 1, and then I'm not going to put anything for the holiday. Hit enter. It's just saying how many work days are between these two dates. So we could go ahead and increase this to, let's just do 12/31 and see how many work days there is. So 14, so if we say 14 plus the 14th, that would get us to the 28th. That means that there's weekends in here, and Excel has figured out that those weekends are there and has kicked them out of that calculation. So this is actually a really powerful formula where it goes ahead and it computes those weekend days and kicks them out. And then also at the same time, it can find holidays. So if you go ahead and you can program in your holidays just by selecting a list, it can kick those out as well. In our example in a minute, you'll see how we can use this in a real life situation. All right, then lastly, let's go over this last one, Workday International. So Workday International, also by the way, both of these can be non-international. The thing is that it doesn't provide you with these 2 optional arguments, weekend and holidays. So this one as well, remember it said weekend and holiday. So if we go ahead over here and we say net working days, see how there's 2 here? If you just use net working days, it only gives you holidays. It doesn't give you the weekend argument. So it's best to just get in the habit of doing the workdays international version just because it gives you more options. Let's jump back into this workdays international. And with this one, it's kind of going opposite of the net working days and says, all right, what's the current day? And then how many days later do you want me to count? And then I'll return a serial number. So if we go ahead and we look at this, you can see it's pretty much the same arguments. We're looking for a start date, and then it's adding however many days I want to add. So let's say we start on this was a Monday, and then we add 2 days. Well, that's going to be Tuesday, Wednesday. So those are both working days. So I should get Wednesday's date here. And the same thing, I'm saying that this is a Saturday and a Sunday for a weekend calendar. So Saturdays and Sundays, kick those out saying, nope, those are not work days. I'm going to leave that as 1. And I'm not going to plug in any holidays right now, but it's the same thing. It would just kick it out saying that's not a work day. Let me hit enter. You can see that it's the 16th. So 14th plus 2 days, 15, 16, and that's where this is coming up. So if we go back up to the net working days though, and we change this date to 12/16/15, you can see that it's actually returning 3 because it's counting the 14th, the 15th, and the 16th to get to 3. And down here, it's kind of working backwards with this work day. It's saying start at 14, add 2, which would be 15, 16. So this is saying add 2, this is saying how many days are there, and there's 3. These 2 formulas kind of work similarly. One just provides a serial number as its return value, which is this one, and then this one returns the quantity of days between the 2 dates.